Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside the Pigskin. Yes, indeed. Pigskin Thanksgiving Day football storylines. Got the dream team here tonight. Of course, Steve Ballister is also part of it, but him and Travis go ahead rotate weeks. Glad to have Bo Crouch. Welcome back, Bo.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome, Coach Bono.
Yes, sir. Good to be here.
Mel Farr Jr. How's that computer working, man?
Working fine now, it seems.
Beautiful. And
Everybody
Travis
doing?
Sherlock.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's okay. It's all good. And Travis Sherlock Holmes.
Happy to be back.
All right, we're gonna have a pretty good show. And actually, Smoking Jeremy B, you could come on with a better show with what we're gonna lead off. I was thinking about you on this one, and just Candy put in the chat here about our line here to get merchandise. So it's in the chat room if you want to get any South Florida Tribune or Motor City Manmouth. Then there you go. You'll have the link to it. All right, well, let's start. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, folks, Turkey Day. The Lions are enjoying the fruits of labor from Matt Patricia. Bill Belichick said via the Let's Go podcast. So I don't know what to think of that one, Poe, but you know what? Have at it.
What?
Exactly. Fruits of labor from Matt Patricia.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I do like what they've built. But I don't think Patricia had a lot to do with it.
Okay, fair enough. Ken, best time to insert it is on Thanksgiving because we're trying to identify turkeys. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying turkey is all in the spirit of this holiday. What do you think, Coach? You think Patricia had anything to do with the Lions' success?
Well, I misread the question. I thought we were talking about whether or not they would snap their
Well, that's
games.
next.
It's in there.
Okay. Yeah, I do. There's some foundational things there still in that building that got done because of Matt's leadership and direction that the fans don't get to see. They completely redid that facility. From the time I left which was under Jim Caldwell, and then when I came back in the 2019 season under Matt Patricia, the guts of that building, which are where the players, what the players use on a daily basis, right? I'm talking about the meeting rooms, just the signage in the hallways. They built an entire new prehab facility, not rehab, prehab. So like the chambers, the pods that you laying in the salt water. They got like 4 or 5 of them. Infrared treatment beds. They brought people in to work in the nutrition department. They brought people to work in that prehab. We had a guy on the staff that had worked with level 1 operatives in the Navy SEALs, and just an incredible amount of stuff. Simulation room or virtual rooms where you could take a position group in there and they're standing on turf, and there's 3 big screen video cameras that are synced up. So when you stand in there, it's like you're part of the game. And because it's a meeting room, that doesn't, you don't sacrifice practice time. So all of these things, the weight room got expanded, the practice fields got redone. All of those things really were set up under Matt's direction. When he took that job, he said, these are the things that I need in order to get it done. So I think they took a quantum leap forward in an industry where all the little things they matter, all the little details. And so he absolutely had a hand in this.
Let me put some in the chat room real quick. Don't throw over to Mel.
And I'm sorry I got long-winded. I apologize to
Oh no,
everybody.
you're fine. Don't worry about it. You know the guy well enough, and we appreciate the insight. So Graham Glasgow, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragno, I think that's what he's referring to. All drafted while Patricia's head coach. Thanks for clarifying that, Jeremy. Good stuff. So, all right, we'll turn over to Mel. You're fine, Coach. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, I think obviously they probably learned some things as far as what they're looking for in a head coach, what they're looking for in a leader, or I should say what they were not looking for, and what they were not looking for in a leader. I think they learned some things from those hires. I don't think Caldwell was a bad hire. I don't think he got an opportunity, but even though they did let him go, and I didn't agree with it, I think the Lions are much better off right now with the guys they have. I mean, I think he's the right guy for the job, right guy for the city. He exemplifies what the city stands for, toughness, all that type of guy. Star, but he was a star in his own role. And these guys they'll run through a brick wall for him and ask him, won't ask any questions until they run through the brick wall. So I think they've learned a lot of lessons about what it takes to develop a winner, what they're looking for. Because again, I'll be the first to admit, when they first hired this guy, I'm like, who is this guy? Talking about biting kneecaps and so forth. I thought they swung and missed again. But I mean, I tell you, he's the right guy for the job, and the right guy for the city. He's embraced the city. The city's embraced him, and I think the sky's the limit for Detroit Lions football. Now, again, we're in this window right now. As long as we have Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator, unless he's preparing somebody to take over for his eventual departure when he goes and get a head coaching job. The window is right now. The time is now. What happens, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but we'll see what happens on Thursday.
All right, but Mel, my question to you is, do you feel that Matt Patricia contributed to what the Lions have going right now?
Yeah, he contributed because they know exactly what not to look for in a head coach.
That's what I need
Not
to
to
know.
look for in a leader. He was everything that this guy is not. He wasn't approachable from the outside looking in. He didn't seem to be very approachable. And the players really didn't want to play for him.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Travis, take it from there.
I guess I'm gonna have to be the only one that's I won't say negative because I mean how it was a failed tenure for a coach. So I mean it obviously it's got to be negative. But this is something that you can say when you're a successful franchise now that's had that history of being, that problematic franchise beforehand. So yeah, is it the fruits of his labor? Labor seems like it's doing a lot of lifting in that sentence. Like it's not fruits of his labor. To Mel's original point is figuring out what you don't want and how to learn from that. But honestly, there's a lot of franchises out there who struggle to find, like they know what they don't want. They know they have a bad coach or they have a bad system or a bad organization, a bad structure, whatever you want to, however you want to frame that. And it doesn't change the fact that they still can't figure out what the right structure is. Does that make sense? Like, so having Matt Patricia situation, organizational issues and his personality issues in the, Detroit Lions front office didn't necessarily, didn't slam home the whole, all right, this is how we're going to do it moving forward, because this didn't work out. It just let them know that this isn't working out and we need to figure out a better way. I'm happy they did land on that better way, having that organizational structure of hiring, these 5-6 guys to help us hire this, EVP, hire the head coach, hire the GM, going that route. Like, I'm happy they landed on that. But I will probably be the one contrarian and say, no, this was not based on Matt Patricia. They did this in spite of all Matt Patricia's failures. And yes, they had a few good draft picks in that time frame when they were able to flip TJ Hawkinson into some picks and, all the things that went right for them. But that's not on the back of Matt Patricia. That's despite that failure of a tenure. So no, I don't agree.
See, I knew I wasn't going to be the only one. Lit panel.
Well, That's why I brought this topic because I knew that this thing was going to be all over the map with these guys. Bro, what do I think about the guy number one? Like a lot of Lions head coaches that weren't successful, he's not getting another head coaching job. Assistant maybe, but he's not getting a job. All right, well, easiest part of the back end of the question is will the Lions snap their 7-game Thanksgiving losing streak? And keep in mind the Lions have 3 straight second half shutouts thanks to the work of Aaron Glenn. All right, Bo, and we're going to talk about predictions later, but what do you think?
Do I think the Lions break their losing streak? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's playing the Bears. Like they're I mean, there doesn't have to be super deep analysis here. The Bears have found ways to lose games, and conversely, the Lions find ways to win games even when they're having an off night. So this one is probably one of the better matchups of the day.
Okay, fair enough.
Only because I don't count the Giants-Cowboys game as an actual football game.
I can only imagine what you counted for, but it's okay. All right, Coach.
Yes, they absolutely beat the Bears at home on Thursday, and it's hard to tell, what type of game it will be. I think the Bears are respectable on defense. They've done a good job, honestly, throughout the year of taking care of the football. They're number 3 in the league in turnover margin. So, look, the Lions just have to go out and handle their business, and take care of the football and go out and execute. I think when you're a team that plays in these games every year, when I think there's an advantage to that as well, knowing that game's going to be at home and kind of how to manage the week going into it with all of not just the practice, but all of the other stuff that happens. These players have their families coming in from out of town for Thanksgiving, and there's a lot of outside of the, building influences on the players that, you have to be as an organization prepared to handle that stuff. And the Bears have that too, you know what I mean? But I just think that is a significant home field advantage as there is in the National Football League year in and year out.
Well, as I mentioned before, Aaron Glenn has done a good job the last 3 games with the team shutting out the other opposition in the second half. So we'll turn it over to Mel.
Yeah, I think they do. Like Coach said, they just have to go out there and take care of their business. Now, the Chicago has to play a perfect game in order for them to win. They are an inferior football team. They got a rookie quarterback who's learning on the fly. This should be, on paper, it looks like an easy game for the Lions. Now, if they go out there and take care of their business like they have the last couple of weeks, this game will be over with early, and we'll be able to enjoy, our turkey, our Thanksgiving. Last number of years, obviously the past several years, last couple of years, paying attention and watching, it's been difficult. I mean, they were in playoff hunt, and they seemed like they had the team. They let them hang around. They had the game. They had the game won. They let the team hang around, let the team get a little confidence, and next thing you know, they end up going home with an L. So hopefully they've learned from those previous lessons the last couple of years, and they go out there, they take care of their business, treat their opponent with respect. And I think if they do that, it should be what, 11-1.
I like Jay. Yeah, he's really giving you the biggest compliment on the Mel's audio is like the Bears offense, sometimes there, sometimes not. I don't know about your computer update, but they're not working right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Let's go to this comment. Since Aiden Hutchinson was hurt, the Lions have given up 27 points in the second half. That's against 16. That's a good point, Jeremy. We always know that.
But one of those teams is not even a football team in the Jaguars. Come on, man. Like, they didn't even play that week. They just, nah, it's fine. This one's obviously the Lions should be favored. We know how that goes, but we also know how it is playing the teams that know you best. Playing the teams that are in your division can always be a coin flip. We've seen enough of this to know that this is kind of how it goes. And if there is a team that can give them a problem, Well, I would say that will be one of the teams that's kind of given the last two opponents that they played against in the Bears issues. They've lost. The Bears lost against the Packers. They lost against the Vikings. Yes, they also made these things really tight. I mean, they lost against the Vikings in overtime. You know, they lost against the Packers by a point, in making these games close that no one kind of expected to be close. So, do I believe that the Lions should win this game? Absolutely, they should be, and they're favored for a reason. But do I believe it's going to be the cakewalk that we might all kind of just project this thing to be? Hey, man, I don't know if I feel that way, because they are still fighting, they're still sparky, they're still trying to win. They're not laying down. They're not a locker room that's giving up on on their coach. It's none of those situations. So if, to Mel's original point, if Detroit don't show up and they play one of the messy games like they played against the 5 turnover game against the Texans, something along those lines. Nah, man, you're gonna walk out of there with an L. So I believe that is fair to say. Yeah, Lions are favored, cool, but also the Bears can absolutely win this. Let's not forget that.
Okay. Well, again, Caleb Williams steps up, then the Lions go to sleep, then you got some problems. I have some breaking news that just came in here, and the Miami Hurricanes have now moved to number 6 in the college football playoff rankings. So that's breaking news that just came across the Canes sent it to us directly. So with that said, I saw the Miami Hurricanes play on Saturday, and they ended up beating Wake Forest 42-14. The Miami Hurricanes had their initial drive was a stick and span drive where they were actually getting first downs off of first downs. And you want to talk about an unbelievable drive. This was it. So the Miami Hurricanes led in first down department 28-12 and total yards 508 to 193. So when I thought about this, I asked Coach Mario Cristobal about it. Can he play the tape?
Mario, the one thing I noticed that you were doing effectively was your ability to get first downs on first downs. So did that enable you to really open up the playbook a lot, knowing that you didn't have to go 2 or 3 downs, and you were that efficient on first down to create a lot of things?
I mean, all year long, it's been a pretty good characteristic of what we do offensively. Again, there were some things we did good, and we were in third and manageable for the most part. But all of it was created by the defense. I mean, the defense, the momentum that they created, I mean, they never flinched. I mean, ball turned over at the, inside the 20, inside the 35, again inside the 35, a turnover. They just kept playing. I mean, really, really special effort by those guys. And certainly their momentum and their energy at the end of the game helped the offense catch some fire with good field position and made some scores happen.
Okay, Bo, how do you summarize those comments from Coach Cristobal? What did you take out of it? That's all right. What did you take out of it?
I had a different audio in my headphone there.
Okay.
It got a phone call in the middle of that. So I missed part of it. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Want us to play it again?
No. Go ahead, Coach. No. It was a phone call I've been waiting for all day, and it was a perfect time for me to listen to it.
No big deal. All right, Coach, what's your take on what I asked Cristobal?
I don't know if he really answered your question. You know what I mean? He kind of it felt like he didn't sidestep it, but I think he just kind of talked about what he wanted to talk about. But obviously, if you're in first down a lot, first down, you have the game well in hand. And look, I didn't watch the game. The final score, would indicate that, because you're making big plays, right? That you're saying you're getting 10 yards or better a clip, and you can't unless you're scoring a touchdown on every play. Offensive production wise, you can't be any better than that.
Okay, fair enough. Mel, what's your take on it? Mel, I'm not really good at reading lips, so let's see if there's a way that we can find a way.
I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't hear your question when you asked him the question. I heard his answer, but I didn't hear your question.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, all day the Miami Hurricanes were on first down and continue to get first downs off of first downs. So, what's your response to his answer?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Coach. I mean, they kind of, I think he kind of answers, said what he wanted to say, but obviously, for a coach, that's a great position to be in, where you're getting first down at the first down, because that means the offense is very efficient. You're moving the ball, you're doing what it is that you want to do, and as a coach, you can't ask for anything better than that. Means that everything is working. You can you got the whole playbook open to you. You can do whatever it is that you want against this particular opponent. Now, again, I didn't see the game either. I get an opportunity to watch the game, but just based on that question, obviously, they were able to do pretty much what they wanted to do.
All right, Jay is interesting. Boy, it would be interesting if Cristobal plays University of Oregon. Yeah, I'd like to see that matchup. Well, time will tell if we ever do. All right, Travis, some thoughts.
I mean, to everybody, everyone else have already kind of made the point that he didn't really answer the question that you asked. But we all kind of we all kind of know the answer. If you're getting those first downs if you're getting a first down of play, basically, the vast majority of your first downs, no one cares about your third down conversion rate. No one cares about your fourth down conversion rate. All this whole game at that point comes down to is red zone and red zone and touchdowns. And with time of possession in that game was basically equal, 30 minutes on each side. But if you're driving that religiously, cool, you're going to win. And the stats, everything kind of just showed that this was a dominating victory for Miami. Like, I mean, you're winning by what, 28, nearly 30 points. You got more than double the first downs, 27-12. 508 yards to 193. Like, this isn't close. And that's exactly what you'd expect if you're picking up first downs as religiously as that. So no, he didn't answer your question. But that's what happens when you're in front of the media and you got these stats that you got to get off. And then he's reading what he wants to read. Cool. At the end of all of it, that's what you want to be, that kind of super explosive offense that's able to pick up first downs at a chunk plays like this. So good job, UM. That feels gross coming out of my mouth, but it is what it is. And we'll see how they look in the next few weeks.
Well, you know what's interesting, Travis, you and I have both obviously been in box. We work together. And sometimes when you're watching a game, there's certain specific things that you're looking for. You're in a group setting, right? So you're going to zone in on something. Not like you have a guy for a one-on-one interview or anything to that extent. And that's the first thing that kept wearing on me throughout the entire game. There are lots of other things they could have asked them, but I think that was one that I was really curious to find out for sure. I mean, think about it. First down on top of first down on top of first down. My goodness, and that drive was unbelievable. And that was a pattern that I saw that existed throughout the game. All right, we're going to bring in Candy Ebling for a quick station break. And when we do, she's going to be part of this segment. So go ahead, Candy. Let's give us a station break.
You are listening to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. If you see the red subscribe button, please hit it, like us, share it with all your friends and family. The South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book late last year called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by your host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is also a link to our merchandise store, which we put in the chat room early tonight. Go to it. You all are buying gifts, this time of year. Go buy a book. Go buy some South Florida Tribune merchandise. And then go to our website and read all the plethora of great content that we have on there. And we have some okay pictures on there, too. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you'd like to advertise, call Scott, 954-304-4941. Back to you, Scott.
All right. Thank you very much, Candy. So, Candy, come on the screen so we can all see on this one. How will Tua Tagovailoa fare at Lambeau Field on Thanksgiving night? All right, Candy, I'm going to let you lead off with
He's
this.
going to freeze his little tush off because he does not play well in cold weather games, and they're projecting it. Last I heard, 22 degrees. So 22 degrees is kind of cold. It'll be interesting because the Dolphins are on a 3-win streak. They've been playing a lot better football as of late. We know that Jordan Love is the gunslinger of gunslingers around here lately, and he's thrown quite a few interceptions. We don't know about a couple of our players. We had a wide receiver go down with a concussion Sunday night, and then we also had another injury. And with it being a short week, sometimes those injuries don't have enough time to play themselves out or get worked out. I think it'll be a good game, but it'll be up in Lambeau, so I am projecting Green Bay to take it. And I mean, they both need to. Let's face it, Green Bay is in a tough division. I mean, they're 7-3, but they're third. They're third. And if they want to keep playoff hopes alive, they got to keep the pressure on.
All right, Jeremy Ballrick notated that 20-degree in Lambeau on Thanksgiving. All I can say, too, is if you thought Kansas City was cold, wait till you get to Lambeau. And the craziest part about Lambeau is those fans are absolutely loud, and they love the Packers. You will not meet a more passionate fan base than what you're going to get up at Lambeau Field. 20 degrees at Lambeau. Tua, you better bring some hand warmers. All right, we'll turn it over to Bo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as that game in KC they went and played in the playoffs. I mean, so because that was negative temperatures. So 20 degrees isn't going to be that bad. Still cold for them, obviously. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch because Miami obviously has a higher flying offense, but their defense isn't as good. So it should be a fun game to watch, but I do think Green Bay likes to win at home, right? So I like Green Bay here.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. 20 degrees is not really cold. Like Bo mentioned, the game that they played in Kansas City was very cold. I think it was negative temperature. Yeah. That is extremely cold. But 20 degrees, Green Bay this time of the year is really not that cold. But and to be honest with you, nobody likes playing in the cold. Let's be true. Let's be honest here. Nobody likes playing in the cold. That's one of the reasons why I went out west, because I didn't like playing in the cold. Now I grew up in Michigan all my life. I don't care who you are. Now I played some cold weather games. It's not fun. But the equipment and the stuff that they have on the sidelines is a lot better now than what we had. And it's cold for both teams. And you're going to be out there. You might as well do something while you're out there. Now, having said that, I still think that, Green Bay, although, being a Lions fan, I would love for Miami to go up there and handle their business with Green Bay. I just, Green Bay is a pretty good football team. Although they do have some injuries, they're a pretty good football team. And I think Green Bay will probably, more than likely, fortunately, win this game.
okay. Turn over to Travis.
So yeah, I mean, I think everybody else has kind of already made the biggest point here, that Tua struggles in cold weather, and it's not just Tua though. I want to be clear on saying that though. The Dolphins in general have lost 11 straight when the temperature's 40 degrees or colder. So that's going back years. That's going back different coaches, different, so you're talking all the players. It's not just, this is a down south fast team that's built for down south dry weather, or built for speed and not necessarily built for slushing. And that's kind of what this is going to be, unfortunately. And 4 of those games, those 11 games that I mentioned, were with Tua as the starting quarterback. So he's 0-4. What is it, per Hard Rock Bet, which is a betting website? Tua's played only 4 games under 45 degrees, and he's 0-4, 55% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's not great. And that's including the playoff loss, obviously. So, I mean, it's not just Tua, it's everyone around him and including Tua. But they're going to have to figure out a way to be better. I mean, like college football, this is it's kind of become a regional sport. where you succeed better in playing in your area and kind of dominating the majority of the season, playing in your favorable conditions. But they're going to have to find a way to win these ugly games, and you kind of have to assume it's going to be an ugly game. I don't know if that Dolphins defense is going to be able to keep the score low enough to win those ugly games, and that's kind of the issue that they've had forever.
Well, Jay says Jordan hamstring level. They'll lose. And Jeremy, Green Bay should win. Maybe if the Dolphins go round and pound, they can win. All right. Well, so he gives you both scenarios. So what do you think, Coach? Of course, now you're on mute, so. Well, I'm telling you, aren't we having fun?
I'll be looking for that fine envelope tomorrow afternoon.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I was just saying that I think I believe that the Packers will win this game. I like what Mel said about nobody really does like to play in the cold. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I also agree with what he said in terms of like the equipment and stuff that they have on the sidelines makes it a lot different nowadays than it was, than it was even 10 years ago. I mean, those sideline heaters and all the stuff they have, you can stay warm, but you don't want to be on the field a great length of time.
I mean, you can take your helmets off now because they have the helmet heaters. We didn't have helmet heaters.
Yes, I would. Yeah, exactly.
On. If you want your helmet to stay warm, you better keep it on.
Yeah, and it's always going to be an advantage when you have one extreme weather team traveling to play another extreme weather team. But I would rather be a warm weather team playing in the cold than a cold weather team having to play in the real heat. I think that's a more than just a mental attitude thing. That's you're not used to that heat and the sweat. It's you're done. Guys start cramping and all that stuff. One of the things that and I always look at this time of year, but one of the things that I just so everybody knows that the NFL always pays attention to in terms of measurables for the quarterback position, especially is the hand measurement. And they all get measured at the All-Star games and then at the combine. And the hand measurement is from the tip of the pinky to the tip of the thumb, hand fully extended. So one thing I wanted to look at was Tua's hand measurement. Is he's got a 10-inch hand. That's not the biggest in the league, but that's a healthy hand size measurement, especially for a guy that we don't typically think of him as having a really big stature. So look, he has the only way you get better at playing in these type of games is playing in them. I think he'll fare decently well because hopefully he's learned from some of his past experience, and hopefully his teammates around him will do the same thing. But I still think Green Bay will win. Jordan Love, by comparison, he's a 10.5-inch hand measurement. And again, that quarterback, think about it, he's handling the ball on every single offensive play. When it's cold, man, that thing's harder to hang on to. Definitely big hands is an advantage.
Great stuff. Yeah. Once again, I'm going to go with the Packers to win the game. I think Tua is going to get humbled by Lambeau Field. Anytime you go into Lambeau Field for the first time, it's definitely an experience for sure. All right, Candy, stay on. We got another segment that ideally suits you as well. Should the Dallas Cowboys bring back Mike McCarthy next season? We'll start off with Candy.
No, I don't think so, because I don't think he's motivated them. I think he's lost the locker room. I think they're not playing as well for him. Sometimes you need to change, and I think they need to move on from Mike McCarthy at this point.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I think it was mostly they weren't planning on firing him during the season. And if you just out and out say he's not coming back, there's no reason to keep him on the field. So I think this was more of the shell game of, oh, yeah, no, there's a chance he can come back so that you don't have to fire him today. Because otherwise you do lose the locker room if you're like, oh, yeah, he's definitely gone and you still got 6 weeks to go, like it's a bad look, right? So I think this was more of trying to keep things intact than it was McCarthy's actually coming back.
Fair enough. What do you think, Mel?
I don't think you can. I mean, if they were going to bring him back, they would have extended his contract. I don't think you can now. He's been a lame duck coach. I mean, granted, a lot of the Cowboys' issues may not necessarily be his fault, but I don't know how you can bring him back and keep your fan base happy. Now, if anybody can do it, it's Jerry Jones. But again, all this is really much to do about nothing. It's just fodder for us to continue to talk about the Cowboys. So, I mean, I think Jerry Jones gave the guy the question so he can answer the question. I mean, come on now. That's all it is. I mean, it really doesn't, it's really, everybody knows he's going to be fired. And so for him to say what he said, if he had that much confidence in him, he would have extended his contract last year. He would have added a year or two on his contract and not make him, coach out the final year of his contract. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think the last guy he did that to was it Jason Garrett. I think he made Jason Garrett do the same thing. And Jason Garrett's going to be a great coach. He's going to coach for a long time. And he ends up getting fired. So why would I believe that he would keep Mike McCarthy?
Good point. Sorry, Travis.
I have an answer because he's Jerry Jones, and that man is a wild boy, and he flies by the seat of his own pants. He does whatever he wants to. It don't have to make football sense. It don't got to make common sense. It don't got to make sense at all. It just needs to keep him in the front of this media. I don't know what to call it. This monster. As long as people are talking about him, as long as we are talking about the fact that he made them dumb comments on that radio show after that victory, then that man feels like he is winning. Unfortunately, that is who Jerry, whatever his middle name, Jones is. And yeah, that's kind of where that lands. Like, should he do it? Absolutely. For the sake of America, absolutely. I hope he does, and give us this cannon fodder for the next 12 months. But no, realistically, there's no world where he should truly be Mike McCarthy be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2025. Now, if Jerry's hearing something, maybe he thinks that he can't get one of the main coaches that he wants to get in this hiring cycle, and he's kind of trying to leave the door open on the potential of him coming back and signing a 2-year extension, eating the cost after 2025, something along those lines, then I fully understand it. I just don't know that I believe that Jerry's 2 steps ahead of everybody else and making that comment on this radio show. I think that's just him just regurgitating words because they just won a game and he was excited. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I think you said a mouthful there, and a lot of it I agree with, but I'll turn over to Coach first.
Am I up?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's my thought. I'm not surprised by anybody's answer. I agree with everybody. But my take is it won't matter. It won't change anything until Jerry decides to hire a true personnel person and hand the reins over and hire a GM. And the reason I say that is if you look at the history, when he bought the team, he hired Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was a very, very good personnel evaluator. All right. Very good. Especially for a head coach. And he listened to Jimmy, right? So they won Super Bowls in 92 and 93. Then they have their falling out, all right? He brings Barry Switzer in, and now Jerry starts to kind of take control. Barry wins, 1 Super Bowl in 95. He flames out. So since that time, he's had 6 head coaches, right? He's had Chan Gailey, Dave Campo, Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, and now Mike McCarthy, right? In that 28 years, they've made the playoffs 13 times. They have 5 playoff wins, all of which occurred in the wild card round. They haven't been to an NFC championship since they won the Super Bowl in 1995. One constant is Jerry Jones, right? So he needs to recognize that I don't put it so much on, look, the GM role, whoever's, he's shopping for the groceries and he's deciding what we're having for dinner tonight, right? So he's He's buying the groceries and he's cooking it. The coach, the coach just brings the meal out and puts it on the table, right? And makes sure everything gets out in the right order. But to me, Jerry Jones is the true culprit in all of this.
Sure, you haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1995. What else do you need to say? Because what you just pointed out, Coach. And I'll tell you, if McCarthy goes ahead and gets let go, I do think he'll get one more opportunity in the head coaching circles. You need a good general manager to bring in the groceries, and he's had nothing more than distractions. And I don't see Bill Belichick going to that circus either. I just don't. But we'll leave that for another night.
Scott, let me ask you this one. You say you believe he'd get another opportunity as a head coach. You think he'd get that opportunity in 2025?
No, I don't think so. I think he takes a year off, reevaluates, and see what situation is best suited for him. I don't think so. I think he needs a year off. Anytime you leave Dallas, you need at least a year off. Okay.
All right.
You really do.
I don't know. You think he goes to the Bears?
Well, please.
I mean, Eberflus is going to hit the bricks. So,
yeah, I mean, Jay mentioned, does he go to the Panthers or the Bears? And right when you mentioned, that's called great minds think alike if I ever saw.
Oh, there's no way he goes to the Panthers, though.
No,
like he actually wins games and has a chance to make it through a season. I don't know that the Panthers is the answer.
I mean, plus they're not going to get rid of you're not going to get rid of Canellis and go hire McCarthy.
No, I think the biggest mistake the Cowboys made was they should have hired Dan Quinn when they had him. But that's for another point. He's done a decent job in Washington, but that's still a 2 or 3 year build. It really, really is. So, all right, now let's go. We're going to get to predictions in a few moments, but the Kansas City Chiefs have had 10 straight seasons with at least 10 wins. We know Andy Reid is definitely the reason why. Candy, what are your thoughts about the Chiefs? They know how to win, although this year they're winning ugly a lot.
But winning ugly is still winning.
Right.
It means you find a way to win. Despite whatever is going on. Detroit throws 5 interceptions in one game, Goff, and they still found a way to win. Like, it just, winners find a way. And when you have a good culture, when you have stability at the coaching ranks as Andy Reid has had, and same quarterback, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, you do well. And they're proving that, they have a good tight end. They have, do they have issues? Do they have injuries? Of course, it's a football team. They play how many games? But they have success because they've built a good nucleus and they believe in the system and they play for the system. Just like, as much as this pains me to say, is Detroit and Dan Campbell has built a good foundation. They want to play for Dan Campbell. You can't always say that about all of the teams and all the different coaches that are out there. But Andy Reid's built something special there.
Oh.
Yeah, you also got to keep in mind that when Alex Smith was there, it was still a good team, right? Like it wasn't a team of scrubs before Mahomes got there. So, it was being built into a nice team, and then Mahomes gets there and they were able to build on it. So, it's impressive. And what they're doing right now, the defense is picking up the slack where the offense hasn't been there. Now, the offense has gotten better as the year's gone on, but it's been impressive. Some of the wins that they've gotten, like Candy said, just finding ways to win. Like some of it's been situational, some of it has been luck, but here you are with one loss.
Mel?
Yeah, obviously they're a championship caliber football team. They're finding ways to win. Ugly win, I'll take that over a pretty loss, whatever that means. But they, obviously they would like to win more decisively, but they have to understand, when teams play them, that's their Super Bowl. Because they are the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions. So they're going to get the best out of whoever it is that they're going up against. And it doesn't matter what their record is, but because they are the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion. and they're still are fine. Still, I mean, look, Carolina played them well. Bryce Young, he played well. He got benched earlier in the year. So that just tells you the type of mindset the teams come into these games with. So, but they're still finding a way to win. Their offense hasn't been clicking. Mahomes hasn't been, he hasn't been Mahomes-like. But the defense has kept them in a lot of ball games, and they've been able to figure out a way to win and get on that plane with a W and get on back and get on to the next one. So it is impressive what they're doing because they are going to get everyone's best shot when they come out there. They are the heavyweight champion of the world, and they're going to get everyone's best. So what they're doing is extremely impressive.
Travis.
Yeah, man. That's all on coaching. They put that thing together. They found ways, no matter the quarterback. Well, I mean, I say no matter the quarterback when 70% of that was under the same quarterback. And you have to acknowledge that they do have a mutant that's leading their team, and they find ways to win. Various different ways of winning. They've had different iterations of this Kansas City team. From the high flying early years of Pat Mahomes with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, and then they changed it to just the Kelsey offense, and then they changed that to I don't know what to call this current version. This run the ball, turn the ball over, but still somehow play great defense and win. Kansas City Chiefs that we're now seeing the most efficient offense on earth. How about that? We'll say that. And they still somehow found ways to just keep winning despite the fact that they're not looking great doing it. Like most of us can objectively look at this and say, ooh, look at Pat Mahomes' stats. Oh my gosh. And they're still winning, and they just find ways to do it. And that's coaching. If there's nothing else, that is top flight coaching, culture, building, whatever you want to categorize that, saying that's that man up top. They're doing it. They're doing it on the personnel side. They're doing it on the coaching, and kudos to them. But again, I want to give Pat Mahomes his credit, but also saying it's not just Pat. That's just across the board. They found different ways to win because they just have the guy who has the mind for it.
Coach.
Yeah, some great points there, Travis, everybody. All teams throughout the season kind of experience kind of like ebb and flows. You're going to have your good games. You're going to have your bad games, right? When you talk about, the ugly wins, you're talking about when you play bad but still win the game. And, I agree. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the Chiefs. That's exactly how they've been playing this year. But they're not the only ones. I mean, I think the Lions have been a lot more consistent in their play, but they've certainly had games where, they didn't play to their full potential. I mean, we just had a game a few weeks ago where they turned the ball over 5 times, right? So, they have those games. Philly, right? Philly's winning games. I mean, I thought they looked a lot better this week, but in past weeks, watching them have just been like, I felt like they were trying to lose the game, but they still end up winning at the end of it. So, I mean, it happens. Again, it is a mark of a well-coached team, a talented team, and it's a mark of a winning culture, as Travis mentioned.
Thanks for the compliment, Jay, about the hoodie. We're a United States hoodie with the red hat. So, there's a question bantering around here in the chat room. So we can have a little fun with it. Then we're going to go to predictions for Thanksgiving games and then the game you're looking for. We'll wrap it up. So, all right, around the horn. Candy, what's your least favorite food to go out there that you don't like on Thanksgiving?
I would say cranberries.
What about you, Bo?
Oh, man, a lot of it, actually. But I'm kind of with Mel. Green bean casserole is rough.
Okay, Mel, you said green bean casserole?
Yeah, I can't do no green bean casserole.
All right. What about you, Travis? You choked up over this question. No, I hope not. All right there, Travis. That's question.
Yeah, you can keep half of it. Green bean casserole, deviled eggs. Anything with. I'm not a mayonnaise guy or a mayo guy. So for me, it's anything that's a mayo base. You can keep it all. Like I'm fine. So.
What about you, Coach?
Well, for almost my entire adult life, I've always been working on Thanksgiving. So I'm grateful for everything. And I will say, the times I've had the joy of being able to coach on those Thanksgiving days. The only thing I didn't ever want to eat was crow.
Okay. Well, I'll join the majority green bean casserole. I have to make a little confession, though. Many years ago, visiting a friend of mine in Kansas City, and we actually broiled that bird instead of doing it the right way. We could have shot baskets at that bird. So it's safe to say the following year, I was back in the Lions, and they've had a lot of practice doing it for sure. So it's all right. It's a good lighthearted question, so I don't mind putting it in there. I love deviled eggs. I love, tell you what, I love cranberries. I would say I love my stuffing. So turkey's okay, but the other stuff's all right too. And if you have no place to go, we always used to go to Cracker Barrel as well. I love going to Cracker Barrel. I don't know where we're going to go. Candy says we don't get together with my dad. Hibachi's we're thinking about going there. So it is what it is. I'll let you know on next week's edition where we wound up. So I don't mind lighthearted questions like that. If I'm going to talk food and the rest of you guys are talking it, I'm only talking it maybe on Thanksgiving. So don't get in the habit of asking me food questions, okay?
So if they're gonna ask what the least favorite is, what is everybody's favorite food for Thanksgiving?
Well, go ahead. What do you think, Bo? What's your favorite?
Well, if I'm in charge of it, I'm not doing a turkey. I'll actually make a ribeye.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Mel?
It's really not the staple, but I mean sweet potato pie. Good sweet potato pie. My friend's mom makes the best sweet potato pie, so that's what I look forward to on Thanksgiving.
What about you, Travis?
I mean, you ain't gonna like my answer, but it's fine. I don't care. Y'all can judge me all y'all want to. I'm all in on island Thanksgiving, so I'm curry goat, brown stew chicken, whatever you want to call it, any of these Caribbean foods, and we all in. I'm 10 plus years into this marriage, and I be begging my mother-in-law, don't try to cook this soul food, ma'am. No, you need to do what you do. You are Caribbean. You cook this Caribbean foods and bring that here. We're gonna figure this out. No, that's so curry goat all day.
Well, nobody will
I'm swinging by if that's what's happening. I'll get in on some jerk chicken or something.
Hey, Travis, I'll say one thing, partner. Nobody's gonna duplicate your answer. You're definitely in your own world there. All right, Coach.
I just posted this the other day. I'm so passionate about this. I've been working on my mother-in-law. I've been working on my sister-in-law. Y'all better get this right, man. Stop trying to be Americanized.
What time we eating, Trav? I'm coming over.
There you go. It's not like you're that far away from each other, anyways.
No, I'll be there. I want to try that. I'm gonna go pumpkin pie with a nice healthy scoop of Cool Whip.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll go with cranberries and stuffing. I love that stuffing. Oh my goodness! All right.
Now, Scott, you guys really aren't going to like this. Most of you guys won't like this, but really, for the main dish, what I really like, you're really not going to like this, is chitlins.
Oh,
absolutely.
No.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on, Travis. You're down south, boy, man. Come on now.
And I've never been that down south. I just been down south enough.
And he's Caribbean down south, and he's not far enough south.
That's all right.
I'm suburbs down south. Yes.
All right. So a message to the chat room. We normally don't talk food, but I'm giving you a mulligan because it's Thanksgiving. Just remember that. All right. Now let's stay with Thanksgiving. We'll make this really short and sweet. Predictions for Thanksgiving games. We're going to go around the horn. Katie, Lions, Bears. Who do you have?
Lions.
Okay. Giants, Cowboys.
Oh, that one's tougher. I'm going to say Cowboys.
Okay. Not like I have to really ask you this one. Dolphins and
Packers.
Okay. All right, Bo.
I mean, Lions. Going with the Cowboys. You have DeVito out there, quarterback for the Giants. Like, they're not trying to win games. And I'm taking the Packers.
Okay, fair enough. Mel, you know the three games.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. I'm going to go with those girls. I mean the boys, and I'm going to the Packers.
All right. Yeah, I was waiting for you to come up with something like that. I knew you were going to do it. All right, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all going to probably be in agreement on this. Lions, Giants, Packers.
You're taking the Giants.
You're
Well,
taking the
actually, I just realized I am the only one that said the Giants. So yes, I'm in disagreement.
Really?
I don't believe in Dallas at all.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, Coach.
I'm going with the Lions to win, although that's Vegas has that at 10 points. That'll make it interesting. You know what I mean? If the Bears play a perfect game, they could and don't turn the ball over, which they've done a good job of protecting it this season, then there's a chance they could cover. I like I'm gonna go with Travis. I'm gonna take the Giants. I think they'll at least cover. Dallas is getting 4 points in that game, and then I'm taking Green Bay over Miami.
Okay, and my picks, I'm going to go with the Lions, but I think it'll be much closer than most people think. Probably 7 and 8 point differential there. After all, the Bears know that they're a laughing stock. They're at least trying to make it look presentable, anyways. I have to go with the Cowboys. I'll give McCarthy every win that he has to get. He's working very hard for them, and they haven't come as frequent as they did the last 3 years when he went 12-5. And yeah, I have to go with the Packers for sure. I just think that Tua is going to get frostbite up at Lambeau. Okay. Well, he will. If you've ever been to Lambeau Field, it's an incredible place, but it gets incredibly cold. All right, now our final topic for the night, the game you're looking forward to watching. And keep in mind, Michigan and Ohio State is this weekend as well. So we'll start off with Candy.
I'm gonna go with Packers Dolphins. I think I want to see that game. That's gonna be my game. I want to watch.
Okay, Bo.
Eagles Ravens. That's
Okay.
going to be a fantastic game.
All right, Mel.
Yeah, I'm with Bo. That was my game too. The Eagles and the Ravens. I think that's going to be a good game. And then San Francisco Buffalo is going to be a good game too.
Okay. Travis.
I'm not 100% sure that I have one. I'm just being honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Colorado, Oklahoma State, but
Okay.
I'm just going to be watching everything.
Okay. I don't know. What about you, Coach? I can't imagine you're going to watch Florida State, right?
No, I'm. My initial one was Philly and Baltimore. I think that's going to be a great game. But since everyone else has mentioned that one, another game that I think's interesting is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Since Bengals are kind of that wounded animal now. They are, they're favored right now by 3, but that should be a good, AFC, battle. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I know.
What's funny about that one is we're talking about championship teams finding ways to win. They have found ways to lose. Oh, did my mic blank out there? Basically, what I said was we were talking about championship teams finding ways to win, and the Bengals have found ways to lose this year.
Okay.
So that's why I think it's weird that the Bengals are favored there.
Well, it's worth noting for Coach Bono.
I
I
do
know
too.
we're not going to turn this into a topic, but Florida State got their second win of the year by beating Charleston Southern. Is that what it was? So they improved to 2-9 in Charleston Southern. Charleston what?
Charleston Southern was 1-11 going into
Yeah.
that.
All right. So there you go. Hey, hi,
They're 1-10. They now finished their season at 1-11. So.
hi, Aunt Rhea. Thanks for popping in. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Mine is obviously Miami at Syracuse. If the Hurricanes win, they go to the ACC championship game. And yes, I'd like to see how the Lions fare against the Bears, see if they can snap that losing streak. But, if I get a chance, I will watch Florida State and Florida. And I'll tell you one thing, what we talked about last week on the show, the Florida Gators are starting to play much better. And they did so last weekend when they ended up beating Ole Miss. So watch out for the Florida Gators. They're starting to go out there and make some noise. And the Michigan Wolverines, and we'll probably talk about it in more detail, were able to get Bryce Underwood. They had a big booster there, and thanks to Tom Brady. So it'll be hopefully the Wolverines next year will have a much better quarterback and get this program turned around. So with that said, Candy, take us home.
I do want to say I am kind of interested, although I'm kind of scared for the Wisconsin Minnesota game because Wisconsin has a bowl record on the ropes 22 years in a row. And if they don't beat Minnesota, they will not go to a bowl. And so that bowl streak will end. So that would be one of them that I'm also looking forward to.
Well, Nebraska actually became bowl eligible for the first time since 2016, beating Wisconsin last week. So that's
Correct.
worth pointing out as well. All right, Candy, take us home.
So you're listening to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. If you see the red subscribe button, that means you have not subscribed. Please do so and share us with all your friends and family. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights, we typically talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and Fire Up, you never know what we're going to be talking about. Fire Up Florida talks about hockey, but we are taking Wednesday and Thursday off this week, so we will be back again next week, Monday, with baseball. If you want to sponsor a show or advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you need a gift idea, I have a bunch of them. The first one is a book that Scott wrote, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It talks about his 40 plus years in the media business and how old school media has changed into new school media. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. We also have apparel on our website, a link to our apparel. You can get a South Florida Tribune t-shirt, sweatshirt, hat. Go check out our website. There was a link earlier in the chat. Go buy a gift for somebody. There's also a plethora of all kinds of great information on our website, so check it out. Scott writes for us. I take pictures. Go check it out. Go check our YouTube channel. We actually have, if you're interested in seeing Mario Cristobal or Cam Ward and what he had to say after this last game, we have the videos up there, so go check it out. Scott, back to you.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for the kind words, Jay. Yeah, Nebraska obviously underwhelming, but Matt Rule's done a pretty good job there for sure. Happy Thanksgiving all back at you, Smoking Jeremy V. And Jay is the greatest. What can I say? I love having him on. Every time I see this guy, he's always positive, and we appreciate him being a friend of the show. So great stuff from everybody in the chat room. And obviously, Candy's favorite quarterback is John Elway. I do. I sense a little sarcasm there. But I'll tell you what, I like John Elway. I was at Super Bowl 33, and when I had an opportunity to ask him a question whether or not he was glad that he ended up leaving the Baltimore Colts for the Denver Broncos, nobody asked him that during the whole media availability week. John definitely did. Yeah, let's hear that question. Not bragging about it, but, so many people talk about his career. But remember, he didn't want no part of Robert Irsay and landed with the Denver Broncos. We all know how that turned out, so. Meanwhile, with this point, Bo, why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can find me here on Tuesdays. I'm with Coach on Wednesdays for Coach's Corner, and you can catch me 5 days a week on Roku TV.
Okay, Mel, let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
You can catch me on all the social media at Melfar Jr. Follow what we have going on for the youth here and in Michigan at melfarsuperstarfoundation.org.
Okay, Travis, you're next.
You can find me on all my writings covering the Jaguars or at bigcatcountry.com. All the socials, Travis D. Ohms, X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, all of them. Please like and subscribe us on YouTube. We have a podcast, The Duval Dive, for any Jacksonville Jaguars fans. 2 times a week, we're previewing the games, recapping the games either live from the stadium or if there's an away game, maybe in London, something like that. We're doing it from wherever we are on scene. So definitely, The Duval Dive on YouTube. Appreciate you guys having me as always.
Well, we appreciate it. Travis and Steve Ballesteri rotate in alternate weeks, and we think both Travis and Steve Ballesteri are two of the best in the business. All right, Coach, let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can see me here on Tuesdays, as Bo mentioned, with him on Coach's Corner on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Eastern time. social media is kind of sparse. I'm up on LinkedIn. Outside of that, this Thursday, if you really need me, call me. I'll be at Travis's house for Thanksgiving dinner. And, Trav, I'll bring the bacon.
That is funny.
There
Hey,
it is.
Coach, I'll say this much before we leave for the night. Coach has come a long way. I remember we brought this guy in at the beginning, but then as time goes on, he's loosened up and he's done an unbelievable job. In fact, Coach and Melfar have gotten reps, have done well, and Travis, you've made improvement. Well, all you are is nothing but a pro. So what can I say?
I like this cleanup spot too, Scott. So yeah.
I'll keep it in mind. I'm sure you do. But meanwhile, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. They know who they are. Smoking Jeremy B, Jay, Joshua, Dor, and the rest that chimed in earlier for participating in tonight's show. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Spend time with your family, your friends, and just be safe. That's all that matters, because at this time of the year, we have a lot to be thankful for. If I'm wearing this shirt, sure, why not? Let's wear the stars and stripes in these colors, because we should be proud of where we live. So on behalf of Candy Ebling, Bo Crouch, Melfar Jr., Travis Holmes, and Coach Bono, my name is Scott Morgan, Roth the Motor City Manmouth. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back next Tuesday night on Inside the Picks. And good night, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving, and looking forward to giving you more great stuff to work with. One last thing before we go. Matt Brown has been fired by the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll get into more of that when we talk probably next week. So good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy the games.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.